this would probably also work at raves if you're into those sort of things, with the black lights. Maybe try a gin and tonic, and if it's made with real tonic, not the artificial stuff, then it might just glow. Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Revival Social Club. My name is Mike Stojic. This here is Malia Christie.
Hello.
And fluttering around all the different cameras like a pretty little butterfly is David Richards. That's three of us, so that makes us the Social Club. But before we get started with today's episode, Malia, have you ever been to a haunted house?
I have, yes.
You have?
Yes.
Probably like most of us, we've been to haunted houses.
Yes.
Were you scared at that haunted house?
At times, yes, mostly all the time, yeah.
Probably lots of the time. One of the things I like to do when going to the haunted house is go a little loaded. Not with guns, I mean loaded with alcohol. Because it makes it makes the experience a lot more fun.
Yeah.
You get a couple good drinks in you, and then you kind of wander about.
Sure.
And if you've ever done what I haven't done this, but I can't wait. Well, I don't. Sooner or later, when there's haunted houses again, to take a gin and tonic with me to that haunted house. And do you know why I would want to take that gin and tonic to a haunted house?
I bet you'll tell me.
I'm gonna. I will. As a matter of fact, I will. So in tonic, in haunted houses, first, a lot of times you have black lights, right?
Yes.
UV, ultraviolet lights that give off a really cool glow because it just creates that really fun, scary environment. One of the interesting ingredients to a gin and tonic, which is the interesting ingredient to the tonic, what makes tonic is quinine.
Yes.
And quinine, under ultraviolet light, actually gives off a fluorescence or ultraviolet, like a brightness, or it glows under black lights.
Ectoplasm greenish.
I think so.
Yeah.
But it
Pretty sure.
glows. So if you're ever at a haunted house, this would probably also work at raves. If you're into those sort of things, with the black lights, maybe try a gin and tonic, and if it's made with real tonic, not the artificial stuff, then it might just glow, and which would make you the coolest kid in the haunted house.
Who's also drunk.
Who's also drunk, and then also in the rave. But anyway, so obviously today we're not talking haunted houses, we're talking tonic, and then a little bit about the gin and tonic. So. Again, what I said earlier with the quinine that makes tonic.
It's quinine.
Quinine.
There we go.
The quinine. This is my pronunciation. Words are hard sometimes, guys.
Yes.
So we gotta really work on that. But the quinine.
Good job.
Comes from a particular tree found mostly in Peru, and then maybe some other countries. But from the cinchona tree, right?
Yes.
Which is in Peru, which is in South America, which is the southern hemisphere of the planet,
right.
Which is then the planet Earth, which is then in our solar system. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's a pretty neat.
I get it. Just to scale back down just a little bit. Yes, he said Peru. It originally kind of was used from the Quechua people, who were in Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, that general area, and it was used to treat, widely it was used to treat malaria, but in particular the Quechua people used it to treat shivering, like when you get the shakes.
They get the old shakes or the Jimmy legs, and they get the shaking when they get a little bit cold, so they would, have the quinine. It had medicinal purpose to it, which I always think is pretty fascinating. It seems like most cocktails, the origin story always goes back to some sort of medicinal or purpose, and the gin and tonic is no exception to that.
Maybe not the gin and tonic, but the tonic part.
No, the gin too, which we'll find out later with the British Royal Army.
I must be healthy as hell then, because I love
drink a
gin.
lot of gin and tonics. Protect yourself from malaria and the shivers.
Yeah, but just remember when they were using it, it was just the powdered bark of the cinchona and water, and it's extremely bitter. So it was a lot like taking your medicine. It did not taste good at all. So at some point they started adding a little sugar to the water, and I'm sure that helped a bit, but it was nowhere near the tonic that we're going to end up getting.
Oh, very, very different today. But I mean, really, it goes back to sometime in the 1500s. Some of our earliest notes that we could find take the idea of tonic and tonic water back to the 1500s. But as I guess more modern way of looking at it, we wouldn't know about it as maybe European or Americans had it not been for the Jesuits. Jesuits?
Jesuits.
There you go. Words are still hard. The Jesuits, which
Like
is
your
a
personal speech therapist.
I never had one. We couldn't afford one. So anyway, so these folks, hardcore evangelicals, traveling, across to the new world in order to convert folks to Christianity. Just pretty, still today, pretty intense. They take these amazing vows, 3 vows of chastity. What are the other ones? Poverty and obedience. And they're probably not the type that would enjoy a gin and tonic. I don't know. Maybe if you're one of those guys, then maybe send us an email and let us know if you actually enjoy gin and tonics. But the thing was, is in 1636, they discovered this in Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador when they were trying to convert the people over to Catholicism, and then they brought that back. So as far as that use, it kind of goes back to 1632, and then it took about 4 years before it came back to Europe. And then we started using it for medicinal purposes in Europe. Okay. But it wasn't until the 1820s that we figured out how to isolate the cinchona, or I'm sorry, the quinine.
Quinine.
Yep.
You got it.
Quinine. I get it. We're going to get it. It's hard. There's a lot of weird vowels, U's and I's and things. But we finally isolated that from the cinchona bark in 1820. And we were able to really create something a bit more potent. And back then it was, because it was more medicinal, and we were using it to fight off things or stave off things like malaria. And the fun thing, when you started talking about tonic and then how it became a gin and tonic, it was actually the British Royal Army. It was soldiers in the British Royal Army that were offered rations of gin when they were in India, which is pretty neat. So we had the British Royal Army or the British Royal Navy that's kind of responsible for things like the whiskey sour and some of the, if you watch one of our previous episodes on the whiskey sour, you'll see how that's kind of the origin there. Yeah. To fight off things like scurvy. Yeah. And now in India they had rations of gin, and they were combining the tonic and some different citrus juices with it, and they created a really fun drink and what we now know as today as the gin and tonic.
The gin and tonic. Love a gin and tonic.
So in 1930s, it took a long time. It never really became popular in America until about post-prohibition. Post-prohibition was when it finally made its way to America. Jacob Schwepp in the 1830s really created this tonic, but it didn't really gain any sort of popularity until the 1930s. It really hit the market in America in the 1950s, and that's when you see the gin and tonic really take off. And back then, you get the 40s and the 50s, you had the soda jerks that were making these syrups, and they were making all these really fun waters. Well, most of those guys were bartenders pre-prohibition, so they already had this amazing palate and this understanding of flavor profiling. So they started making these different tonics, different syrups and tonics and those sorts of things, and it was made with real stuff. Fast forward into the 70s and 80s, everything becomes more manufactured. We're cheapening things. We're using things like high fructose corn syrups, artificial flavors, and preservatives, and you end up with something that says tonic on the label, but in fact is not really tonic anymore because a lot of it's artificial. But the good news is we're going to show you a little bit and talk a little bit about how you can make your own tonic at home, or check out our website and buy our house-made tonic.
Yes, definitely check ours out. As far as whether you purchase it or you're making it at home, there's no kind of right or wrong way, but there's some really awesome tonics, some artisan craft tonics that are already carbonated that are on the market. There's Q and Fever Tree and things like that, and they're really delicious if you want to save the work. But I kind of recommend at least one time make tonic for yourself. It's the way I consider it. This is the way God intended tonic, and especially the gin and tonic, to be. So we're just going to kind of go with a quick overview of how we make ours and the ingredients that are involved in it. If you want just a real simple, easy way to make it, you can look up Jeffrey Morgenthaler's recipe. He's got a really simple, popular one. it can be very involved, but it's so rewarding. And there's certain elements to it that really make tonic what it is. And you'll notice from ours, for example, it's got this bright kind of burnt umber orange color to it. And that's because when it's made naturally, you get all of the color from the cinchona bark, which is much the same color. So a lot of the time, like when I'm pouring a gin and tonic for somebody, their first question is, yeah, but I ordered a gin and tonic, and they expect it to be clear. But if you're using the real tonic syrup with your gin and club soda, it's going to come out with kind of a nice bright orange hue to it, and that's when you know it's the good stuff.
Plus, if you're making it at home, you're boiling it down, it's going to make your house smell really good.
Yeah.
Because I know when we make it at the bar, it just fills the aromatics, it fills the whole room, and it's really nice.
It's really nice.
It smells so, because you're using so many amazing botanicals. But let's show them what ours looks like.
We should make tonic candles.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I could maybe in another.
How about let's just show you how to make
How
tonic
about we
syrup?
just show you a little bit about what we use, and then we'll just make it's a simple single mixer cocktail, just a little gin and tonic. It's perfect for right now since it's probably 100 degrees wherever you are.
Yes.
And it's a very light, refreshing, citrusy, tonic-y, quinine-y drink.
You got it. So we're not actually going to make tonic today because it's a process. It's very rewarding. You should try it, but it does take a while. And so we're going to show you the main ingredients. We're going to show you the ingredients that we use, but if you want to do it at home and keep it really simple for your first try, the main important ingredients that you need are, of course, the cinchona bark. And you're going to want to, if you can get the powdered kind, that'll make it easier for you, but you can use a coffee grinder and just grind the cinchona down to a powder. It can still be kind of chunky if you want it to. But you've got the cinchona for sure. You're going to want a little citric acid. You're definitely going to want the zest of some citrus, grapefruit, lemon, lime, lemongrass. Very, very important. You can get that. A lot of really nice supermarkets, but I love going to the Asian grocery stores because there's just all kinds of fun things that you can find. You can always get lemongrass there. And then definitely probably some whole allspice that you've crushed just a little bit. Other ingredients that you can add are green cardamom. That's something we use. Coriander seed. It's also something that we use, and it's also popular for some people, especially if you like the botanical gins, to use some lavender in there too, and it makes for a yummy, yummy creation.
Yeah, and if there's other things like other botanicals, maybe like a rose hip, or if you want to throw in some extra peppercorn to give it a bit more spice. I mean, go nuts. I mean, really, there's no wrong answers to the way you make your tonic. It's just kind of the way you like it. Just like there's no wrong answers to the gin you want to use in your tonic, and there's a bunch of those out there.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're gonna do, the tonic with a gin, I think it goes really great with either botanical gin because of all the botanicals, or something that's a little more citrus forward. You can always use a London Dry for everything that is requiring gin, but those are two options that I think go just really nicely with homemade tonic syrup. And then of course you'll need club soda because your syrup isn't already carbonated, and so you'll use your gin, your syrup, and good ice, and then the club soda, and that makes your perfect G&T. So
with the soda, so if you're making your own syrup, so syrups are a lot of fun in general to make, but you got to remember that it is just the syrup, like Malia said. So getting a club soda or a seltzer water to get that effervescence, and of course, the more flavor you add, you can add more syrup. If you want less of it, and maybe not use so much. So it's a lot of fun because you really customize your own drink.
And just a general rule, because we do get asked this, people say, so should I mix it with tonic water? And it's no. You've got all the tonic that you need in the syrup, and so you just want sparkling water, club soda to add to it.
Unless you're doing like a double tonic. Gin double tonic.
Unless you're just like, let's
Which
go
would be
crazy.
silly, because why would you do that? Like, you already made this amazing all-natural tonic, and then you're going to introduce something that's probably not all-natural.
Right.
Why would you? No. So don't mix it with tonic water. Use club soda or seltzer, and you're set.
And boom goes the dynamite.
And boom goes
So let's
the
make
dynamite.
a gin and tonic with our tonic syrup. This is something you can definitely get from our online store, so check that out. And today we're going to use Conniption Navy Strength Gin. Conniption is one of our most favorites to use. It's a little bit higher proof, and so it's really going to still come through and not get kind of drowned out by all of the natural tonic flavor.
And we love them too because it's local to us here in Clayton, North Carolina. It's just a few minutes down the road in Durham, and it's the Durham Distillery, and they make some really fantastic gins. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So let's do it.
So with this Navy Strength, some people prefer it stronger, so you can use as much as 2 ounces, but with the Navy Strength or something high proof like this one, probably stick to 1.5 ounces. I feel like that makes a good balance. So 1.5 ounces of our Conniption. Super simple cocktail making. Ice.
Super simple because it's literally a single mixer.
Yep.
So you get your base spirit, which is the gin, and then you're adding the tonic. And we have a fancy soda gun, and you can buy these pretty much anywhere too.
Yep.
And if you don't have a fancy soda gun with CO2 cartridges, well then
Just get a bottle of soda
get
water.
a bottle of soda water.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then you're going to use about 3/4 of an ounce of tonic syrup if you want to measure it, but an easy way to do it is pretty much just at the same time pour your tonic and your club soda. You can always add, but you can't take away, so maybe pull off of the tonic before you finish filling it with soda, and then you can top it off with a little more if you prefer.
And this works pretty easy for us because we got a speed pour on the bottle. So if you don't have one at home, you probably don't just want to dump the tonic
Right, not
in.
at the same time.
So maybe a measuring, but really it's whatever the tools you have, and go have fun with it.
Good point. So probably best to do the 3/4 of an ounce, add your soda water, taste it, and then
But
add
you know,
more
that's
if
the
you
other
like.
thing too is, experiment. That's really what makes a lot of cocktail making so much fun, is that you get to experiment and play with the different quantities and the different flavor profiles and really have fun.
And if you do have an oops and you end up with too much tonic in there than you prefer, then just get a larger glass, add more gin, and you'll just have a super big gin and
That's
tonic.
right. And then you can share with your friends. And who doesn't
Or
like
not.
friends who share with gin and tonic?
Drink the whole thing.
I would share with friends. Then you have a party.
So I'm going to do the almost 1-to-1
social
pour.
club.
There we go. And you're just going to want to cap it off with a lime wedge. And here you have the perfect gin and tonic. Would you like to try it?
Oh, I already did. I snuck it in. You didn't see me. I was faster than the camera shutter speed.
Did I just pour the gin right in your mouth when I
In and out,
wasn't looking?
like a ninja.
Sweet.
All right, guys, that's it for our tonic, gin and tonic episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give us a like and subscribe, follow, check us out on the interwebs.
Yep.
Click the link below to take you to our store if you're interested in picking up some of our tonic or any of our barware product. We also have a wide range, we have an arrangement of array of Barfly products that are some of the top in the industry. So if you want to really up your home bartending, home mixology, even professional bartending game, check out the link below and we'll take you there. Yeah, that's it. Until next time.
Until next time.
We'll see you next time.
See you, Social Club.
Enjoy your gin and tonics.